Hello, world. This is Nika Ross, and I'm bringing you some valuable information regarding the USPS window training so that you are prepared and know what to expect. More importantly, you will be ahead of the game and stay on USPS payroll. Okay, so it was seven of us that were in this training class, this window training class. We started May 6th, 2021, and today is the last day, which is May 13th, 2021. It was a total of 7 days, and not just any 7 days, but a very mentally draining 7 days. Okay? So let's pump the brakes on this topic so we can jump to something else so I can give you guys a visual of how long I have been working for the post office before I was pushed into the window training or placed into the window training. Okay, more like push, but I'll get to that later on. So I started working with the USPS on April 12th, 2021, and first day of window training for me was May 6th, 2021. So that is 3 weeks and 3 days, or 24 days, whichever floats your boat. But it's, I wish I had more time. And once again, I'll get into all those other stuff at the end of this video. So now let's fast forward back to the window training. So let's get back into this mentally draining 7 days. So in the classroom, all of us received a book that you cannot bring home. Let me repeat that again for those of all who was busy catching up on sports or the latest fashion. The textbook that you are learning from, that they are teaching you from, cannot leave the classroom at all. Now, you are allowed to bring your own notebook in where you can take notes. But check this out. You also cannot take that home at all. So whatever information you collect in the classroom, you have to leave it there along with the book, the textbook that you cannot bring home. I did wanted to mention that they also give you other materials necessary for the exam or for learning about the window and how you would operate. They give you like a another binder with different forms that are inside of it that you can, flip around and check out that the customers actually use at the window. Then they give you like a couple loose papers about different things, like I said, pertaining to the window. I personally wasn't paying much attention to that because it's not information that I needed for my window training exam. And I'm not talking about the forms because you definitely need to know and learn the forms. I'm specifically talking about the loose papers and a booklet, a pamphlet thing that they give you that has nothing to do with the window training exam. So the book has multiple modules, of course, like it's a thick book. The instructors took turn on teaching us from the textbook, and we went over the modules. The modules are broken down into sections, and after each sections, then you have like an end of day test, to kind of brush you up on what you were taught. So that was pretty cool. And every day before we leave, they would go over some questions from the book, like the questions that are at the end of each section. They go over those questions, and there's another part in it where you have like a word puzzle, and the words that you use to put into the word puzzle, those are answers to questions pertaining to each section as well. Y'all got that right? Are you sure? Okay, let me try to say that again. So the modules are broken down into sections. For example, module 1 to module 4 is like one section. So after you're done with module 4, there are questions, like a little test questions that are in the textbook that you cannot take home. And they cover important aspects of those 4 modules combined together. And I guess that would probably be something that would be on the test, maybe not worded the same way, but so they do like help you with that. And the questions are not that long. They're probably, I remember one of them being 8 questions, another one being 10, 11. And the instructor picks on us. She calls us by name to answer the question, or might go down the row, of how we're seated. So, you know, it's pretty cool. Now, immediately after those practice tests, you have a word puzzle. You actually have to find the words that are there, and those same words that you are finding in the word puzzle are one word answers to questions pertaining to the modules that are grouped in sections. So for 8 hours a day, for those 7 days, your brain is being stuffed with information. You heard how I just said stuffed? It wasn't like a regular stuffed. It's stuffed with information. Like, we used to watch cartoon and you see one of them forcing like luggages in a car in a trunk, and they're just trying to close it and just wouldn't close, and because it's cartoon it's going to close even though it wouldn't be possible in real life. That's the type of information and how it feels as your brain is receiving it. Even when your brain is backing out and saying no more, it's still being forced into your head. So this continues on day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let me tell you, the more days that come by and you're in that classroom, the more twisted the information becomes. It's like, just know that you can't be stressed out going through that classroom, like prior to entering the classroom, because I don't know what to tell you if you enter that classroom with outside baggages of everyday life. The easiest day of those 7 days would be the 7th day, because the information that you're learning at that point is easy to grasp, pertaining to other things that is just confusing. So on the last day of window training, you actually get to leave with your notes. So all the notes, anything that you use a pen or pencil or marker, highlighter on, you get to take home. So just to put some knowledge in your head on top of what's already in there, try to make sure that you write down all the questions and answers from the book on that piece of paper, or pieces of papers that you take home. Okay, let's kind of dive into some random things real quick, because I see this video's this audio, because I'm not much of a video person, just to keep talking and having something stare at me. So that's why I'm behind the blankness and you're only hearing my voice. But let me hurry up and touch on some of the topics that we did touch or discussed. Things such, there's I don't know how deep I can go into this, but trust me, I want to give you guys everything. Okay, so we did go into different classes of mails, such as, Priority Mail Express, Priority Mail, First Class, stuff like that, USPS Ground, things of that nature. So you need to know important things about those classes and different shipping services and labels that people use in the labels and forms that you would use in a post office. We touched on balloon prices, priority flat rate, dimensional weight. We touched on USPS retail ground, first class letters and flats, the characteristics of those. We touched on retail ground surcharges, oversized price. Let's see, insurance amount for each class. We touched on maximum amount of insurance that you could get. We touched on with money order. We touched on obviously forms, which I already said, but I'm going through my notes. So whatever I'm seeing, I'm just throwing at you. For a perfect example of that would be priority mail, priority express, right? So priority express comes with $100 insurance. It's a 1 to 2 days delivery. It comes with a return signature confirmation. It has tracking. It has free packaging. It has a refund if not delivered on time. No Saturday charge. Sunday and holidays, there is an extra charge. That's an example of the things that you would need and how deep it goes into it. And we touched into money order, the different types, the domestic money order, the international money order. We did change of address forms. Forms are very important. How long does it take to forward a mail? How long does it take for a temporary forwarding? The forms that you would need to fill out temporary forwarding, authorization to hold mails, firm holdout, caller service, general delivery, like all these different things, international mail. And we touched that. We touched on the maximum weight. We touched on the dimension, the size of these things and the weight of them and how much it cannot exceed. And we dealt with stuff that was mailable, so mailability, things that has certain weight and dimensions that can be mailed and cannot be mailed, and letters and parcels that can be mailed, and stuff that's non-machinable and stuff that's machinable. We talked about flat size mail, the parcels, hazardous hazmat questions, accountability of the money and the stamps and all of that stuff, and reporting monthly postage meter activity. It's a lot of information, and I'm just throwing out there things that I know will help you. The hardest part for pretty much everyone that was in the classroom, it was 7 of us, like I said. Those of all who care to know the gender, it was two males and 5 females. They and myself, the hardest part was dealing with priority mail, the different classes of mails, and the weight, and because there it's just very, very confusing. The weights, the dimension, the balloon, the surcharge, those oversized stuff, all those stuff, they come with different numbers because you have to use the length, the girth, the width, all kind of stuff like that. And I hope you guys are keeping up with me because I'm going pretty fast, because this message has touched into 12 minutes, and I could never understand how people videos would go that long, even though mine's an audio. But every information that I'm giving you, if at least 98% is pertaining to the window training. So now I am going to, oh, one more thing. There were the other 6, since it was 7 of us, the other 6 people that was in the classroom. There was only another guy. I got hired with him on April 12th, and I saw him in the class as well. So outside of the 2 of us, those other employees that were in the classroom, they're working in different jobs. So some of them might work in I don't know, different areas in the post office that has nothing to do with window training. They want to switch over to the window training. And then, like I said, me and the other guy, we came in, in that position. Now, I must add that I got a career position immediately. The other guy that I got hired with, he's a PSE, and he has to wait 2 years or more to get that to be a career employee. That's just what I got when I signed up, and that's what it is. So for me, everything starts for me on day one, like my benefits and everything, and all that kind of stuff. So, and we are making we're not making the same amount also. He told me that he's making 18 something, and he's a PSC, right? So he's making 18 something an hour. I am a PTF, which is a part-time flexi, and it does not mean that you work part-time at all, which is what I thought or heard. But this is where you are a career employee. So you get paid in the 20s. I get paid in the 20s, more than $20, more than $21, more than $22. I'm not trying to get extremely specific with that, but Actually, let's do it. I make 22.15 an hour. And as a PTF, a part-time flexi, PSEs make $18 and something. So now that you know all my business and all and some information pertaining to what to expect with the window training, dress code. The first day I went, I wore business casual. I always go for that before anything else when I'm going into a strange environment that has a professional setting. So that's what I did. When I went there, people were in sweatpants, t-shirts, just chilling, hoodie, I do live in Pennsylvania, so yeah, so it's still chilly, and in the classrooms are cold too. Next day I was blending in with everyone else, and I wore my jeans and my Nikes and stuff like that. So the dress code is not serious, but I would advise you to wear something professional on day one, some type of business attire, just to just to be on the safe side. And that concludes the video or the audio. Thank you guys for watching, and I will let you guys know how I do tomorrow. Y'all pray for me, keep your fingers crossed for me, and everyone right now that's going through this process, or you're in the fingerprint. I know a young lady reached out to me and told me that she was in the fingerprinting process. I hope everything is working out smoothly for you. And I will follow up tomorrow. We'll let you know if I pass or fail the window training. And one last thing, if you apply for a PSC, or you get a PTF position, you passing the exam, your job is pretty much dependent on it. If I don't pass tomorrow, I lose my job. If the guy and everyone else and anyone else who went in as a window clerk, you have to take this exam, and you fail, you lose your job. So this is very serious. Like I said, y'all keep me in your prayers and think about me, and I will come back and drop the bomb on you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening.